Thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to start the reading with my poem on page 76. It's called Names. I'm tired of having 5 different names, having to change them when I enter a new country or take on a new life. My first name is my truest, I suppose, but I never use it, and nobody calls me by this Vietnamese name, though it is on my birth certificate. Teresa Mei Chuc. It makes the sound of a twang of a string pulled. My parents tell me my name in Cantonese is Chuc Mei Wai. 3 soft bird chirps, and they call me Awai. Shortly after I moved to the U.S., I became Teresa Mei Chuc, then Teresa Mei Chuc. Teresa is the sound water makes when one is washing one's hands. After my first marriage, my name was Teresa Chuc Prokopiev. After my second marriage, my name was Teresa Chuc Dow. Now I am back to Teresa Mei Chuc, but I want to go way back, reclaim that name once given and lost so quickly in its attempt to become someone that would fit in. Who is Teresa Mei Chuc? I don't really know. I was never really her, and her birthday on March 16, I never celebrate because it's not my real birthday, though it is on my birth certificate. My birthday is on January 26, really, but I have to pretend that it's on March 16, because my mother was late registering me after the war. Or it's in December, the date changing every year according to the lunar calendar. This is the one my parents celebrate because it's my Chinese birthday. All these names and birthdays make me dizzy. Sometimes I just don't feel like a Teresa anymore. 2, pronounced Due, isn't so embarrassing. A fruit learns to love its juice. Anyways, I'd like to be string, resonating, pulled back tensely like a bow, then reverberate in the arrow's release straight for the heart. The next poem I'm going to read is by Corrinne, Clegg, Hales on page 85. I've been thinking about Japan a lot lately and the nuclear problems that they have there, and this poem really spoke to me, especially also after the Vietnam War, the problem with Agent Orange and the effects that the children there and the Vietnamese people are still experiencing right now. It's called Covenant, Atomic Energy Commission, 1950s, by Corrinne, Clegg, Hales. While we wait, crouched under our desks or in well-stocked basement shelters, for it to fall screaming out of the sky, the atom bomb is already sneaking in through the side door, blowing like a tumbleweed across the desert, rippling through shirts and diapers hanging on the line, dusting pickup trucks, bicycles, porch swings. We've been expecting such unambiguous Russian-made tragedy that we're not even watching the signs. The birth of a malformed baby, missing arms or eyes, or born with its vital organs outside of its body, persistent rashes that swell and crack, a road worker's skin, serial miscarriages, sterility, the endless procession of cancers igniting imperceptibly while we sleep, or eat, or put the kids to bed. A woman peels potatoes and slices them into a casserole with butter and milk. Her husband wipes grayish-white residue off his car with a towel, sits on the porch smoking. Reading the paper, watching the children wrestle with the dog in the yard, all of them completely unaware of the subtle internal explosions taking place. We see those slow pink clouds pass over our heads, and we see the man from AEC chase after them in his Plymouth Fury, monitoring area and extent of exposure. But we feel ground tremors as reassurance that someone is working hard to protect us from the climatic nuclear moment we rehearse for. Nearly a third of a neighbor's spring lambs are piled in a heap to be burned, born dead or two-headed or missing legs, their wool falling off in clumps. Children play in fields and trees, eating apples, riding horses, scratching their names in the fine dust coating every flat surface. Nevada school teachers follow every advised precaution and march science classes to a hilltop to watch significant blasts. Farmers' wives shake white dust from their husbands' work clothes and throw them into the washer with loads of sheets and towels. Fathers come home from the fields or their jobs at the test site with unbearable nausea, itching, peculiar blistering, sunburns. One child has a chronic bloody nose. A mother's teeth loosen and fall out. Self-sufficient Utah families grow vegetables in the dirt, raise pigs, chickens, and goats for milk. Their children shake white ashes out of the oleanders in their hair, calling it desert snow and wiping it off ripe strawberries before popping them into their mouths. Tumors sprout cunningly and take root unnoticed in developing organs, hideous fruit, demanding a grim and perpetual harvest. A dairy farmer notices his Geiger counter goes crazy, not only near rocks and dirt, but near the pile of cow carcasses he's had to destroy, and it goes strangely silent when he digs beneath the soil's surface. He tests feed bins, water troughs, the milk his children drink. 5 years ago, he believed the bomb was God's chosen instrument for the salvation of the free world, and he understands now that he's accepted it into his life as absolutely as Jesus. Death is just part of the deal we make to be saved. A thin religious woman wearing a bright scarf to cover her bald head tells her neighbors it's the inevitable end to protecting ourselves by keeping a loaded gun at hand. She's lost her father, 2 stillborn babies, and her own blossoming body to the bomb that would deliver us all from evil. As we obediently duck and cover, constantly keeping an eye out for Khrushchev, on the 6 o'clock news, the bomb seeps in, silently, through the bedroom window, settling on tables and chairs and into our bones. It travels east with the weather, hovering quietly over neat clusters of suburban tract houses and breathing its isotope-ridden breath into air ducts of hospitals, schools, high-rises. It is delivered in refrigerated meat trucks and milk tanks fresh from southwestern farms into markets where we buy it, pray over it, and take it as if it were holy into our flesh. I just want to read one last poem. This is a prose poem that I wrote called Newton's First Law of Motion. An object is in a state of inertia, that is, a kind of constant motion, until another force interferes with its course, like when my state of mind is rattled. Sometimes the force appears as a person, an object, or feeling. Sometimes it comes flying from a distance, a firebird, winged creature, Fenghuang, of luck and happiness, with the tail of a fish, the head of a cock, the back of a swallow, and the neck of a snake that plunges into fire and turns into ashes, strange mythical bird that never dies. It is because you die and return each time. It is because in order to be reborn, you must die. And so people wear jeweled phoenixes of jade and gemstone around their necks and wrists and embroider the firebird into a piece of art to place on the wall. They play the 5 notes of your song, the notes of the pentatonic scale, because of its magical powers. I want to be you, Ho-Oh, and cast myself into the fire again and again. Keep my heart open and burning. Allow something to fly in and a new bird to soar from my chest.